Welcome to Brotherhood of Healing, the podcast devoted to supporting veterans in health, resources, and in life after the uniform. Here we share inspiring stories, valuable information, practical advice to help our veterans thrive beyond their service. Whether you're seeking guidance, community, or simply want to hear from those who understand your journey, you're in the right place. Thank you for your service and welcome to the Brotherhood of Healing. Tying on target now. Welcome to another episode of Brotherhood of Healing, the podcast that focuses on veteran health issues and resources. Today's episode is we're going to talk about traveling to Mexico, something that's near and dear to my heart. Something happened here recently with some friends, and I just want to share our experience and kind of talk about some of the things that kind of a good need to know or good to know stuff before you decide to travel. Okay, so what prompts someone to go to Mexico aside from the beaches and the food and the people and all these fun things? Well, there's a big new trend right now with and it's been going on for some time, and it's healthcare. They travel to Mexico to either get dental implants and or just medical health stuff, MRIs, things like that. Over there are so much cheaper than in our own country, so that's one of the reasons, right? Um, there's also, so things to consider for that. Are um, make sure you have passports that are not about to expire. Know the visa rules. Um, length of stay. Has its own rules. You can only stay so many days on a visa. Carrying proof of your veteran status is helpful. Um, and the thing is that those are the things. It's not so much to go into Mexico, but it's to also come back through our customs, because going into Mexico, there is pretty much seamless, regardless of what people tell you. I mean, I had a friend of mine tell me, "Oh man, you don't want to go to Mexico. It is so bad over there." I'm like, "When was the last time you went to Mexico?" And he's like, "Oh, I've never been." Like, okay, you probably need to shut the fuck up. You don't know. You're scaring people for no reason. Well, I heard. Like, well, okay, I go there fairly recently. I go to here in Arizona. We have, Rocky Point, which is only like 3.5 hours away. So a lot of students, a lot of people from Arizona go to Mexico, and for that reason, for the beaches, for a lot of reasons, medical. Some people go down there just to pick up prescriptions. One of the things that we have to be always very aware of is the amount of prescriptions you have. If you're going down there with medications that are know the rules. And one quick way of doing that is to look up on our side the rules, the do's and don'ts, right? For instance, people going down there to buy narcotics, and know that you have to have a prescription for certain things. Not everything, of course. Most antibiotics and medications that you would get, inhalers and different things, are over the counter. But some medications they will require and it's not the pharmacy that requires it. You can buy it directly from the pharmacy, but it's if you get stopped or pulled over at the port of entry and you don't have a prescription for that stuff, that's where you get yourself in trouble. um, One of the things that if you I got to tell you this story, and this is kind of a funny thing, but recently a group of us, mostly veterans and their spouses, went down to Rocky Point, and we're all just going to go hang out at one of the resorts and have drinks with umbrellas in them and that sort of thing. And since I go there fairly often, they've asked me and say, "Hey, well, what are some of the things we should do?" One of our guys was planning on going down there with a gun. And, I'm told him, I said, "You got to be out of your mind. You don't even go there with empty shells, in the back of your truck. They'll pull you over. You'll get in trouble. Absolutely no weapons of any sort. You know, just common sense, that kind of stuff. Remember that if, a lot of times people just forget that their stuff is in their car, um, and they'll take a risk, or they didn't even realize what a risk they're taking. So make sure that your vehicle is cleared of all these sort of things, because veterans, we carry weapons. It's kind of you know it's kind of how we roll. Um, and yeah, my buddy was like, "Yeah, Second Amendment." I can do that. Doesn't even count over there. You're gonna get yourself put in jail, and it's not good. The other thing was, another one had a vape pen. Well, okay, well, THC is legal in Mexico, in Arizona, but you can't go there with a vape pen with THC in it. If you get caught, you're smuggling drugs. That's a big offense. You're a lot of trouble. So common things happen commonly, and sometimes people just carry it in their car, and then it's in their clutch purse or whatever, that sort of thing. Just be mindful of those kind of crazy things, that can happen. But so finally, I almost had to do like a shakedown of all my friends to make sure that they're not carrying something that that could potentially get them in trouble. And long story short, I mean, we did go down there. We did have a great time. The Rocky Point is a great destination from Arizona. Um, anyway, so another thing is, so people go down there for healthcare or medical tourism, right? Do a little research first. Make sure that um, the facility that you're going to go to, make sure that it's is accredited, that is legit. Okay, you'd be surprised what you find, like dental offices that are not even, they know how to do the procedure somewhat, and they'll jack it up, or just have a really high infection rate because they're not doing something they're supposed to do, what have you. Okay. Bring copies of your medical records if that's your jam, if you're going to be doing any kind of medical thing. Any recent imaging, your medication list. Also, verify availability. Because a lot of times what happens, you'll make an appointment, and you got to make sure that your appointment stands, that you're set. You don't want to go down there and not have the appointment. Also, if you don't speak Spanish, I recommend, you have some kind of support, for language support. I think that'd be very important. Uh, Understand the differences in standards, infection, and malpractice recourses. It's very different over there than it is over here. Okay. If you plan on buying or bringing medications, controlled substances, I can tell you that, check the Mexican rules for prescription meds, because especially opioids and benzodiazepines and such, and stimulants, those all can hem you up at the border. Carry your prescriptions, okay, originals in English and in Spanish if possible. Keep them in the original container. Don't put everything in one container. If I take 5 pills a day, and don't put them all in one container. Keep them in the original containers. It looks like a hassle, but it'll save you a lot of undue burden, right? Um, know that the VA has, very does not usually cover overseas issues, only if it's emergent, and that is sometimes questionable. Okay. Um, Safety. You know, look up what you need. I've never had vaccines. I've never had anything kind of for anything from mosquito-borne diseases or anything like that. The place that we tend to go is very, very safe, and is certainly, um, frequented by a lot of U.S. People. Right? Um, One of the things I do tell people to do is make sure that you get the number to the American embassy or the consulate, in Mexico. Uh, the reason for that, you just never know. It's a good number to have in your phone, on your wallet, that you can call. If you get in some kind of trouble or something, it's not likely, but if it does happen, it's nice to know that you have recourse, over there, and it's, where the embassy can help you with that. A lot of times people, well, I lost my passport over there. Now I can't get across the border. Well, they can expedite a passport for you, and that sort of thing. So those are the kind of this is the reason why, it's kind of important to know the rules over there. And you can find all that up in lots of different blogs, and or our government websites on travel. Um, but again, I don't want to discourage you guys from going, because it's really a great place to go. Um, but again, know the rules. That's simple. You know, beware of from payments for stuff. You know, I was, the tipping custom, um, that sort of thing. Using a credit card for in pesos versus dollars. Know that you're going to get probably screwed on the exchange. Um, what else? A lot of the American Disabilities Act does not apply in Mexico. If you have a license plate with a handicap symbol, or a placard, a disability placard on your vehicle, bring that with you. Um, Let me see what else. Talked about firearms, right? Know the travel, know the weather. A lot of times, we've had people go down there not realizing that that is the monsoon season down there, and they spend their time in the hotel just drinking, because they couldn't go to the pool, they couldn't go to the beach, because it rained the whole time they were down there. Also, bring, aside from the embassy and consular information, bring the VA information as well. Um, there are pages on the overseas care and travel insurance that you may need over there. And one thing also is, know that you need Mexican car insurance, because um, that's going to save you a lot of grief if you're in a car accident over there. You have their insurance, and that's how your car gets fixed. That's how your car gets you know uh, towed to the right place and what have you, right? So, um, like I told you, the story I told you about my friends and I, we went down there, and it was comical to see how little they knew about going to Mexico, and what that could mean, right? And very nonchalantly about the whole thing. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. You can get in trouble over here for that kind of stuff. And once we were down there, we understood that, yes, that these are they have rules just like we do, and that's just one of the things that's, they have the rules. One thing I wanted to point out: if you do go down there to buy medication, this is kind of important. When they hand you the medication, on the box, or whatever it is, if it's a box of pills or whatever, there is an imprinted price in pesos. A lot of times they cover that up with a new price. That's illegal over there. They don't get to do that. The price on the medication itself, the very very imprinted number on there, that is the price of that medication. So it happened to me when I was in Mexico with my wife. We were in Tulum, and we just been through the Mayan ruins, the pyramids that they have and what have you, and we were out in the sun. I didn't have a hat on. I have like this wicked headache, and I said, "Well, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the store here and get me some Tylenol." And I go in there, and the guy tells me it's $20. And I look at this thing, and I pull the thing back, and it was 20 pesos. It makes a big difference. 20 pesos is a dollar versus 20 US dollars. So, and I told him, I caught him on that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, my fault, my fault," immediately, But other people he's done that to, clearly it's um, kind of a thing. So just be aware that that number that's imprinted on the box, or the bottle, whatever you're getting, that is the price. Oftentimes they put like a little sticker and handwritten price over that. So don't go with that price. Just always make sure that you check. That's the only big tidbit I have for you guys traveling down to Mexico. Have fun down there. Just know the golden rule applies. I've seen it over and over in Europe when I was stationed over there, where a lot of the U.S. personnel
would only leave the barracks to go to, different things, and like you know downtown, go drinking, what have you, and they didn't realize that the golden rule applies down there. Treat people like you want to be treated, and it should be totally fine. There's no, I mean, everybody says, "Oh, the cartels." Cartels really have no interest in tourism. In fact, they encourage tourism because it means money in their pocket. So, just know that they're not interested in you. They're more worried about the guys who come down there and buy lots of drugs and try to screw them over. And that's what unfortunately happens. And it gets sensationalized in the media. And then everybody takes that approach of that's empirical. It's everywhere you go. That's not the case at all. So don't be fooled by scare tactics on the news, and what have you. But other than that, that's all I have for today, guys. If you guys have any questions about anything that's said here on this podcast, feel free to reach out to me. Or the link below that's a part of our podcast. Or if you even have comments that are more beneficial for veterans to know, something that I might have missed, by all means, I'd be happy to showcase that at some point. But that's how we roll. Stay safe, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Brotherhood of Healing. If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment and leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Your feedback helps us grow and bring you even better content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep your powder dry and watch your six.